Hi, this is Brian Poole, and welcome to this session on how to Edpuzzle your eDay. Now, one of the things that comes up quite often from parents is whether eDays are relevant to what's going on in the classroom if we set them up in November and then don't have the eDay until January or February, or possibly in some years even March. And the question is a valid question. We do have to set up our eDays early. That doesn't mean we can't change them anytime we want to try to make them more relevant to what's going on in our class. And one of the great ways we can do this is through a software site called Edpuzzle, which will allow you to make an interactive eDay off of any YouTube video that you can find or that you have made yourself. So this lesson is on how to Edpuzzle an eDay. Now, I will tell you I'm not a 100% Chrome user, but today we're going to be viewing everything through the Chrome browser because Edpuzzle has an add-on to Chrome that makes things really, really easy for us to Edpuzzle things whenever we find something on YouTube. So if you've never added something on in Chrome, you go over here to Settings and go to our add-ons. So I'm going to click on Settings and I'm going to go to my extensions here, and I already have it down here. And it's this extension, rather alphabetical, this extension right here that says Edpuzzle Make Any Video Your Lesson, and that is enabled on my account. And if you don't have it, you can click down here on Get More Extensions, and you can just type in Edpuzzle, and that will come up for you, and you can kind of hit enter, and that will come up for you, and you can add the Edpuzzle extension. I add this extension down here, Edpuzzle Make Any Lesson in eDay, and that will add the extension that we're going to talk about today. So first of all, it doesn't matter whether you're a YouTuber or not a YouTuber. I personally record all of my classes, so on my video site I might have, for instance, this video that I have captured for my class that's currently 34 minutes and 36 seconds long, and I might want to Edpuzzle this to make it relevant. I record all my classes, and the next year, obviously this is one that's already done this year, but the next year I might want to Edpuzzle it so that I can use this exact same class again, either for a flipped learning blended assignment or for an eDay assignment. But if you don't record yours currently, you can either record one that morning when you know it's an eDay, or go find one that's relevant to where we're at. So in this case, I'm going to say we're at memory, but maybe I couldn't find my own video, so I wanted to go and find somebody else's. I've already done a YouTube search for an introduction to memory, which is a good introduction to memory. It doesn't say everything that I would say. In fact, there's some things that are kind of old because this was made back in 2012 that I'm going to show you how to add your own comments and stuff inside there as well. So if I'm at a YouTube video and I want to Edpuzzle it, and I see that I have this button right here that says Edit with Edpuzzle. So I just click on that button to go into Edpuzzle. Now, because I'm logged into Google right now, and because I've logged into Edpuzzle before, it takes me straight into my Edpuzzle account. I'm already there. If you haven't used Edpuzzle before, I'm just going to go to edpuzzle.com. If you haven't used it before, then you can create an account just by saying Teacher Start Now, and I'm going to say I want to log in, and I log in as a teacher, and boom, if you've got a Google account, you just click Google+, it'll log you in that Google account, which is how I'm logged in the other window. If you don't, you can create one if for some reason your school is not a Google Education school and you don't have a Google account for your school, or you can use obviously your personal Google account too. You just click on there to log in that way. But because I've already done that, I'm already over here at Edpuzzle. Now there's 4 tabs I can see right here on Edpuzzle that I can use. The first one is to crop it to the content that I want. Now in the case of this video, all the content is fine and I would leave it alone. If I was going to Edpuzzle my personal video, I know, for instance, that this one I don't even want the first 5 minutes and 12 seconds, so I could scroll into 5 minutes and 12 seconds. See if I can just go to 5:10. Okay, so I'll have it start there, and I also know that The end of the video is just fine, so now I've cut it down to a 29-minute, 26-second video. So that's the first step. The second step, you can go, and I'm going to kind of be going back and forth between these two videos. The second one is you can do, if you don't like what that person said, I can record over his audio track, okay? So it says up here you can do it in your own language, but you can also do it because maybe you're watching a video of maybe in a French class, a video of something in France that you actually want to narrate, or any video. Maybe you found a video on how to dissect a frog for a biology class, but you don't like what that instructor said. You can voice over the entire video if you want to. I will tell you, if you do a voiceover, first of all, it's easy. All I have to do is hit record here and then allow my microphone to be recorded, and it'll start recording and playing the video. So I'll see what's going on in the video while I'm recording it, so it's kind of like recording in real time. If I do that, it does take a long time to upload that audio file and incorporate in Edpuzzle. So be advised that's going to take a while. I'm going to go ahead and remove this last recording. I actually don't ever voice over a video, but I could definitely see a reason that you might want to voice over a video. The next tab is to add audio notes, which is not the same thing as voicing over. It actually pauses the video wherever it is, and it allows you to interject your own comments into the video where it's paused right there. So if I go and say that down here I want to mention that, boy, this video is old, 2 gigabytes is not the standard amount. So I'm going to go right here, and now I'm going to hit this recording button to make a little side recording that it's going to stop right here, and it's going to play my recording and then continue on with the video. The difference between voiceover and this one is it's inserted, not overlaid. So I click right here and start recording. Hi, just so you know, this video was made a while ago, so maybe a standard amount was 2 gigabytes when this was made in 2012, but we know from our class that 2 gigabytes is less than what we want for even a minimum PC today. 2 gigabytes would be considered minimum, not standard. 4 gigabytes would be what we talked about in class for a 32-bit machine, and 8 gig for a 64, and 16 gig for a gamer, but that's all current as of today. We don't know what it's going to be in the future as far as the amount of memory we need, so saying there's a standard amount probably is a bad statement, and we know it's definitely contrary to what we talked about in class. So I add that, so I've got that added in there. It's in that note, so when they play it, it's going to stop right there, and boom. You could also do that at the front of a video to introduce, hey, here's the objectives of today's video. I want you to get this or this or this out of the video and out of this video lesson, so that they know when they're listening and watching this YouTube video what their objective of the lesson that you've set out for them is. So, and it also says up there, you can see why audio notes. You can also add a conclusion, and in my case, remark in there. Now, the last thing that we can add in Edpuzzle is, in many ways, the best thing. Now, when a student's playing this, you have the option to say you cannot fast forward, which I always do. But, you know, if we're going to make it an eDay, what's to say they don't hit play and walk away? How do we know that they paid attention to what was said during the video? How do we know that they got the content that we're trying to get them? In class, we don't talk for 50 minutes and then say, see you later. We stop, we talk, and we call on Mr. Jones and Mrs. Smith, and we ask questions to keep them engaged and make sure they're paying attention. Why wouldn't we do the same thing in a video online lesson, which is what the last tab here is for. It says it's a quiz, but really when it says it's a quiz, that's kind of misleading. What really it is, it's any time we want to add a note, a textual note that we want them to read. We can add notes in there that will stop and they have to read it and continue. We can also add questions that are multiple choice and true and false, as well as extended response type questions. Now, extended response, obviously, Edpuzzle can't grade for us, but for those multiple choice and true or false type questions, Edpuzzle will automatically grade it. So you've got a great way to give an eDay or any kind of flipped or blended lesson where the students have to watch the video. It will stop at specific points where you set it inside the video to get responses back. And you could even stop at some place and in the note, and I've done this before, provided a link to somewhere else, said, hey, here's supplemental material for this that I need you to go and read, and then come back and watch the video from there. And then I can add questions on the reading they just did before they get any further in the video to make sure they actually went out and did the reading. Now you can see that just the small recording that I did takes a while for the leprechauns to upload for the little pop-up that we've got there. So that's why I'm saying a voiceover can take a really, really long time, and I haven't done a full voiceover because when I've done these little snippets, it's taken a while. So of course I don't try to do the whole audio. Maybe it's not as slow, maybe it just does it over, but I haven't personally done that. The other thing is, just like I did with this audio note, I could have just as easily stopped it right there and done a written note. And if I had done that, that takes no time at all to add in to the video. So it's actually more common for me to just add a pop-up note for the students inside the video than it is for me to add audio, but I wanted to show you that while we're doing it. I'm going to pause the video while this is uploading and just see how long it actually takes to finish without everybody sitting here watching how long it's going to take. Okay, for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to tell you that it has been an hour since this has started uploading, and I don't know whether it's my internet connection here at the house or the fact that uploading voice is really, really, really slow. So I'm going to go over to the other Edpuzzle, and this is the one I actually have recorded from my class that I wanted to turn into an Edpuzzle anyway. So we already talked about trimming it, and we already talked about audio and audio notes, and the last thing is quizzes. So when we say we want to add a quiz, all we have to do is click where we want the quiz, and then we've got three options here. We've got open-ended questions here. We've got multiple choice questions that can also be true, false. And then we've just got comments that we can post in there that make the videos stop. They have to read whatever we said, and then they have to push play again. And there are often times that I have always used this comment other than the audio note, and after waiting for as long as I just did for the audio note to get finished, I now know why I always did it this way. So this one's one that I just am going to say, I want open-ended question, what are the two types of memory? Now this is a review for my students, so they should be able to answer this question, and it's the review pre-test. So if I had an eDay or I just wanted to do a flip lesson, or I was absent maybe, that I wanted to be able to make this something that the students did when I wasn't there, so then the next class day I can still do the test because I've already done the review. I'm still going to make it interactive, and I'm about ready to say in this video the answer to this. So instead of actually saying it, since it's a review, I go ahead and hit save there, and now that's a question. They're going to get a pop-up, and they're going to have a chance to type in there, and then they're going to be able to click continue. I'm going to edit and see if there's anything else I want to change. Nope, that's good. So then I can go back and continue my lesson from that point on. And I accidentally, there we go. Okay, so now you can see I've added that one in there. So and then I just answer the question what the two kinds of memory are. So maybe farther on in the lesson, and I want to add another one. And this time I'm going to add a multiple choice. What kind of and I'm going to, there's two kinds, primary storage and secondary storage. And I could add more. It always has two, and you can see I can change which one's the correct answer. I'm going to say that's the correct answer just like that because that's the right answer. So I'm going to hit save there, and now they're going to be able to click primary, secondary on that when they do it. So that's basically all the process is. And I'm going to add another one. Oops, if I can type. There we go. And I actually wanted that to be a multiple choice, so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say L1, L2, L3, and L3 is the correct answer there. And I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to continue. Now you don't need to see me add a bunch of questions here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording to add some more questions so we can go on the next stage. But you can see how easy it is. When I'm on this tab, I just put my cursor wherever I want it to be, and then I click the question mark, and then I go and add whatever kind of question I want to in there. So I'm going to pause it for a second and add some so you're not sitting here watching me add questions. Okay, I've gone through and added several more questions and some comments here. Some of these are multiple choice questions throughout there. Some of them are open-ended. Some of them are just comments in here. All of them stop the video where it's being played, and the student then has to hit continue to continue on. So now I'm done adding those things to my YouTube that I want to Edpuzzle, and I'm ready to go ahead and hit save. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Oh, it doesn't say I'm logged in, so I'm going to go ahead and click login. I thought I already was logged in. There we go. And now it's going to say assign it to a specific class. Now here's the thing that you want to do, and when I go and set up Edpuzzle, I've got a number of classes already set up there. I could go ahead and set it up for, I have Edpuzzles that I do have added just one at this point for Tech Tuesday. You can see I've got 11 in my hardware class. Algebra 1 was just one I was playing with. I've got a couple in advanced tech, and then I made some new ones for the current class of hardware. I'm going to go ahead and add this to hardware 2016. And you can see right here I've also got some other superpowers. Prevent skipping means you can't fast forward anything. I always leave that done. You may want to undo it if you're using this for PD and you want to allow people to skip through. You also may want to do it if this is a review video that students don't have to watch as an assignment or something. But in that case, I would just have them go straight to the YouTube because I always want to prevent skipping in Edpuzzle. The only other reason maybe is just to make sure you log who did it. You can also enter a due date here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave that like that and say later. However, if I hit send, I could go ahead and send this, and now it's going to go ahead and send it to whoever I want to add it to. Now I really didn't want to do that, and I'm hoping I can go back on this. Let's see if I can. Did not let me go back, so let's see if it showed up down there in my class. So memory recap class plan, that's the one I just did. I can change it to allow skipping, which I don't normally do. It's already set there to prevent skipping. You can see I can make that change if I want to. I can add it to a calendar for students. So if you don't have an LMS, in our case we use Moodle, and we can link it to our Moodle assignments, but if you were just doing this, for instance, as an eDay assignment, and you know that it's going to be due by the 1st, you could go ahead and do that because that's the date this has to be done by and it defaults at 11:59. So, and you can go back and change those dates anytime you want to. So it would automatically keep track for you if students get them done on time or if they got them done late. I'm going to hit cancel there because there's no due date with that one. And I can go back and change it and add it to the calendar later. Now the last thing that I can do on this is I can share this and it automatically shows me the link to do that right there. Now, if all you're doing is putting it on your website, that they're going to click on that link and go to the Edpuzzle. You can use the link right there. If you've got a website that embeds inside the web page, you can use the embed code, which is what I do on the Moodle site. They actually look at it inside of Moodle. So you can see in this case, in this hard drive lesson right here, the Edpuzzle is embedded inside of Moodle, so they actually watch it right there inside of Moodle. And I'm sure with other things you can use the embed code. I have no idea if you can embed in things like Progress Book, or if you just have to post the link, and on some of the less powerful websites that schools use, whether they can do that. But everyone can use a link. So if you just used that, or even emailed the link to your students, if you have an emailed list for students, you could do that as well. So either one of those are perfectly good ways, and you see that there are other ways to do that. You can do it through Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, and it links up with Google Classroom if you're a Google Classroom school as well. So it's pretty easy. Then you can see right here it says watch as a student. If you wanted to preview what a student would see when they came onto it, this is exactly what it would look like. They can't fast forward at all. You can see the lock. If they try to fast forward, they have to push play. I'm going to turn down the volume on that while I'm playing that. And you can see they can always go full screen as well if they want to go full screen on the video. But again, they can't fast forward, and I'll show you what it's like. We'll just wait for a second for it to go ahead and get to this first question, which is why I put it right at the start of the video. Okay, I paused it for a second just so get there. So it stops right there. They go, what are the two kind? I type in RAM and ROM if I'm a student that knows the answer. If not, they can hit rewatch. It'll take it back to the start when they were going over stuff, but they now can fast forward back to where they were before. They can fast forward up to where they, so did this, they say submit, and then they say continue, and it immediately starts playing again. So as they're watching the video, in this case, I'm doing it for a pre-assessment before I go over it. You could just as easily, if you recorded a class on how to do algebra problems, right when you write the problem up, pause it and say, please do this algebra problem on a blank piece of paper before continuing, and then the students then check to see whether they got the answer right before they go on, and then they see how you explaining how to do it, and it kind of supports what maybe they already know, maybe use it for an intervention activity as well. So that's pretty much it. Edpuzzle will turn, for instance, this 30-minute video that I've got. I could use this for an eDay. It's actually much longer than I would normally do as an eDay, but it's interactive. Students stop along the way. We're asking them questions. We get feedback, and when we're done with that, we can go and click progress, and I would see who's in my class, who's watched it, what grade they got in it, when they turned it in, how many times they've reset. So if they backed up 10 times to get the answers, that's fine, but it's interesting to know that. I don't obviously take anything off for doing that. I'm going to try. Oh, and when you're done, you can export those grades if you've got a way to import them into another gradebook, or just to export them just to see what they are and to be able to save that information. And we're using this for our SIPA training, so that I've got an exported list of all the students that have finished their SIPA training, and it makes them watch the video, and it makes them answer questions along the way for their SIPA training. So there's lots of ways you can use Edpuzzle. That's all I've got. I realize it was almost 25 minutes long. Again, you got to be able to fast forward through it if you already knew some of those things, and I had to wait to see that this audio still never uploaded. So I will not be using the audio anytime soon, at least not from home. Hope that helped you out with making your own eDays more relevant, and you can see that I just did this whole training in 25 minutes. You could take any YouTube you found that was related to your content, and in 15 to 20 minutes make a really relevant eDay lesson that's self-grading, that's engaging, and that's interactive for your students. Thanks.